Russian drag is basically a variation of when we do the spinning juji when the other guy has one leg up, but the difference is that we're literally dragging the leg straight. So I'm going to do one on this side and then one on that side so you can kind of see. When our basic juji position right here, Mike puts this leg up, normally because he's going to sit back for an ankle lock or because he's trying to open the hips up and pass. Okay? Either way, I don't care. He's given me an opportunity by having that leg right there, and he's kept his arm in striking distance, so to speak. So as soon as I see that right there, I'm going to shoot my arm through, and then as I come across, it's the same spinning juji position. My toe is pointed up on this side. I'm deeply hooking right where the ankle is, and I've got the crook of my arm right there on the ankle, close to the floor. Try not to be up high. As soon as I get that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and pull it straight. I always think about putting my hand behind my head or raising my hand in class. Okay, so pop it up, he falls over. Okay, scoop the head right there, bring the hands together, and apply pressure. Same thing on the other side, he pops that leg up. Okay, I've still got his arm, I spin under, toe pointed up so that it's not a hip flexibility move anymore. Okay, arm nice and low, my bicep is on his ankle. Okay, it gives me a nice deep grip, and it's my whole shoulder against the bottom of his leg, not my hand. Okay, nice and deep. Try and raise your hand up or grab behind your head. Boop, there he goes. Okay, bring your hands together in the normal juji position. Okay, you can grab your far arm, you can grab your gi, you can grab your hands together. Okay, doesn't really matter. And then you put your hips in. It's a pretty tight one. It doesn't really look it, but you're bending them like a sandwich. So go slow at first if you haven't done this one before. One more time through this one at normal speed. Okay. Sometimes you'll fall over that way. So again, be mindful of that because your hips are going to go against the joint and continue through to the floor. And there's almost always about a foot between there. So if you're 165, 170 like me, it's 170 pounds coming down on your elbow. So be mindful, be careful, okay? Unless you don't like the guy, in which case, go for it, okay? So again, he puts that leg up, okay? I'm gonna spin under, catch, and then immediately drag, okay? The leg drag part is why we call it the Russian drag. The Russian part is because Steve saw a bunch of Russian guys doing it. So there you go, okay? Soon as I drag the leg up, then the foot comes over and really bring that head in, okay? If I'm too loose on this, I probably am not gonna get it, and he's gonna pull his arm out, okay? You can follow up with the knee bar, but always try and go for what you're getting, okay? Practice it perfect, and hopefully you'll only be a little bit off when you actually try and do it under duress. So as soon as I'm here, catch, bring him in nice and tight, grab your arms together, okay? Apply the pressure. Don't worry about swimming back through. Hug everything together, okay? Make sense? All right, one more time through, normal speed. Okay. Okay, so we're going to go over the head roll version of the Russian drag arm lock. So again, this is a head roll version, so we're continuing that motion of coming up on the hip and grabbing the head, but we're going to flip it all the way around. Sometimes he starts the motion for you anyways. So sometimes you're forcing it, sometimes he's just kind of flopping on his side anyways, and you're just going with the motion. So we're here again, he's in the guard, he pops one leg up, okay? I'm going to shrimp to the side, and I'm going to catch as deep as I can. I want it at least in the crook of my arm where it bends. Ideally, it should be like on your bicep. So it's a strong part of your arm, and you've got a nice deep hook, and he's going to have a hard time stepping out of it. And then from there, you drag that leg up as high as you can get it. I try and put this hand like that, or raise my hand like I'm in class again. Okay, so we catch there, pop it free, he hits his hip. Now, here's where it's going to be a little bit different. When I come up, I'm going to catch my foot right there. It looks like you're kicking him in the back of the head, but you're just kind of placing your foot right there as you roll, okay? So as I get ready to roll, I collect my hands, I turn my hips over, and this foot is going to drag his head over. We're here, collect. Why roll him over? Well, sometimes you can't get your foot all the way over. Sometimes he's falling over. Sometimes it's just not a good position that you're in. So you want to get back into that better position, which is usually the leg press, where I'm facing up and he's facing up. Okay?
Turn this back over that way if you can.
So we're here again. He pops that leg up, through, drag it,
And you're going to want to push
chin up into his head,
back over this way.
hips up, and roll.
So I can't
Get bone and muscle.
I have it. Okay.
And they're
What I'm
long.
trying to do.
Now,
They're long.
we're going to move back here a little bit for some more space.
Over here if you can.
All right, so sometimes you lose the leg, but ideally you should try and hug both of them all the way through. It makes it a lot easier when we roll. So this time, we're gonna hug nice and tight, both the leg that you drag and that hand you're trying to arm lock. We have a hold of it, that comes up, pop it through, and see how up high I am with the lock? You can even hug like this, okay? Shin comes up, hips over, roll through, collect.
One way.
It's pretty nasty that way because he's folded in half like a sandwich or like a staple shape like that. He doesn't have very much wiggle room anymore, and you're literally squeezing him even more into that. Okay?
Now on that one, Derrick, you didn't catch the head. You forgot the head. So really at this point, you can see you don't always have to catch that head. It's advantageous if you do.
Yes.
Because sometimes you can catch the roll. Do that again one more time. I know you just did that without thinking, but popped it, come there.
When you get used to this a lot, you're already on that hip. So it's really just one step to get that big hip turn, collect, and then just roll. My hips or my heels wearing the entire way through. He's ready to tap right in there.
But we would like to put the instep, the top of your foot on the back of his head, because that helps steer him over.
Yes.
If you don't do that, you can still get the move just like you showed. Can you do it the way we were showing originally?
Unlace it.
And this is our more standard way of catching and rolling there. There you go. So either way works, because even the head roll juji, you don't necessarily have to have your instep or the back, the top of your foot on the back of his head.
However, and I'm glad you mentioned that, but the important thing to remember there is not that we're being like purists about the technique. It's when you're starting out, it's a heck of a lot easier to do it that way with the instep on the back of the head, as well as if Mike was maybe 30, 40 pounds heavier than me, getting him to do this, especially when I'm starting out and I don't really know this move too well, it's going to be pretty imperative to push his head to get him to go over.
Right. Right. Can you do it normal speed?
Right? Good. And then the other way, and that way.
And there's and you, again, we might note you could do this no gi. We're wearing jackets and full judo gi tonight, but you could do this with no gi as well. It's just there's some sweat, so that's why if you've got an opponent who is sweaty, stay close, stay contact, make all those tight, tight control points and keep them there.
If you are doing it in a no-gi scenario, then again, like control is a huge, huge thing. So we're either going to be, in this case, I might do it from a baseball bat grip, but I almost always catch it with a deep hug right there, okay? And I'll as well block right here. I'll put my foot on the hip and I'll block in on that arm so that he's going to have a difficult time dragging his arm back. This gives me extra layers of protection he has to go through in order to get that arm free. Okay, if I just rely on this, he might be really slippery and he pulls it free before I even get the arm lock. So I hug in nice and tight, I block it with that elbow, he puts the leg up, drag, catch, and round we go.
And I might add, those are still great things you do even if you're wearing a jacket and a belt.
Right, right.
But it's just keep it control and tight.
You can do, as with all things in grappling, unless you're doing a gi choke, it really isn't going to make that big of a difference. The gi provides more sweat absorption and more friction, so it's a little bit easier to do some of them. You just have to be mindful of the more slick nature, the more dynamic nature of the no-gi.
Can you do it one more time, no gi, then? There we go. And that is the what we call the Russian drag, and Head Roll Juji Gatame variation of the Russian drag. Okay, thanks guys.